Hey guys, we're back with another demo review, and this time I decided to take a look at s1mple. Gambit just finished knocking Navi out of Katowice. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen that yet. I guess I should have said spoiler alert first. Anyways, it seems like it's really the CIS uprising here at Katowice, and honestly, that tournament's kind of always like that. It seems like the CIS teams always do really well there. I'm watching the Astralis versus Virtus Pro match right now as well, and Virtus Pro's up one map against Astralis in the quarterfinals. So yeah, it's crazy showing by the CIS teams, and s1mple top fragged this game, so I figured I'd grab his demo, take a look, and see what kind of player he is. And I feel like his profile fits a lot of CIS players. He's very frag heavy or frag dependent, just loves taking aim fights, kind of like North American players really, but just he's better at it. Loves taking aim fights, loves taking the duel, and honestly, the story of this map was, it was like scout map. There was 3 scouts on the field, multiple rounds, this one included. But yeah, there's scouts all over the place this game. And I'd say s1mple play style is kind of like the early NAF demo I did. Very, very chaotic and jumping around and parkour here, parkour there. Fucking take this fight there, switch guns, do this. Like, he's their opper. And speaking of opping, that was a very, very swift shot. Looked like he shot after, but like that little delay in shooting there, that's because of GoTV, so it kind of looks like he hit him when he was behind the train. But anyways, super fucking fast shot. Then he moves inside and cleans up Navi on their eco round. I'm still kind of on the fence if Gambit's win here was them playing really well, or was it Navi playing bad, or was it a combination of both? And I think it's just a combination of both. Navi did not look great. Speaking of, like, look at this. He's trying to nade through the window and he just misses. He does that a few times later on too. Actually, yeah, he does it again here, but this time he gets the nade through. It doesn't do any damage. I didn't see him actually get any damage done with this. I think he did like, yeah, he does like 2 damage, but I like the idea, to be honest. I don't know how much damage is possible with that kind of nade, but it looks cool. And like I was saying, I don't know if Gambit played really well or if Navi kind of played shit. I know starting T side on train can kind of make it look worse than it was. If you can't get into that groove on T side and start stringing a few rounds together, it could look like a really rough game. Kind of like Nuke used to be. If you started T side on Nuke, it was just an uphill battle, and it was a big disadvantage, you know, to start the half maybe down 13-2, you know. And that's really how imbalanced Nuke was before. Well, maybe not quite that imbalanced. Gets the 1v1 against s1mple here and gives s1mple a taste of his own medicine. Just fucking destroys him with the no-scope. And goes on to get the defuse. So, pretty nice. One thing I don't know if I liked that much. Like, I mentioned this in other demos, but look at his nades. The Boomich is just jumping around middle. They threw 2 Molotovs in there, down middle, and a nade. And I don't know, man. Molotovs on the inside bomb site are just so strong. Whether it's for a retake or if you're holding the site, there's just so many really good places to Molotov. And I feel like there's 3 kind of levels of nade usage. Actually, he gets a sweet fucking shot here right out of midair. And it's against s1mple too. I'll replay it here in slow motion. Kind of looks like he shot behind him again, but I think that's just GoTV. It just kind of looks weird. But like, I feel like people, the first level of nade usage is like people that are terrible with nades, they never use them, and they finish the round and they haven't thrown a single grenade. Then the second level is people that recognize that they need to throw their nades to get value, but they're not really maximizing the value that they could be getting out of them. They're just kind of wasting them a little bit. And then the third level is kind of like Astralis and the absolute upper echelon of players that recognize, yes, use your nades, but let's optimize how we use them and use them in the most effective way possible. And I just feel like seeing like 2 mollies and a nade go down T middle just because you saw one guy jump across with a Glock. I don't think that's efficient use of nades. And there's better ways to do it, especially on train, where, like I said, the Molotovs on the inside bomb site are just ultra strong. You can see Navi is not off to a good start on this map, and they never really get much rolling in terms of momentum on the T side. You really need to kind of take a chunk out of the CT's money, and that's really how you build rounds as a terrorist, or that's the easy way to build rounds, I guess. Just things are so expensive to buy on the CT side. I don't know what this dude's tripping balls holding this position here. He gets flashed off. You'll see him get flashed here in a sec, and then he just holds it. And I don't know if he didn't think he was going to get peeked or what, but he had balls of steel to just stay there like that. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the fuck he was smoking, thinking that was going to work. But he peeks like the upper ramp there, and see how he just walks away? It's because he knows, like when he peeked, he scoped in. So he knows that they probably heard the scope, right? So he doesn't want to give away too much information. He already gave away a bit of info by telling them the op is close because he's scoped in. So then he'll just walk away, and now they don't know if the op is still close or if he's far or what, right? They're a much more reasonable spot on the spool there. I know he was trying to play like a little bit of an off angle and get away from headshot height, like when he was up there earlier and he got flashed off. But I mean, if you get flashed off, just fall off, dude. This is really good. Like, look how much he's relying on his team here to catch those AKs. And you can see if he jumped up again, s1mple has him dead to rights with the op. s1mple held that whole time expecting s1mple to jump back up on the spool, and he never did. He knew that he shouldn't, and his teammates had his back to protect him against those AKs that were rushing towards him. So I just felt like that was a really good game sense read, and just relying on his teammates, you know, to protect him against those AKs that were running up. Because if he jumped up to try and take a fight against those AKs, s1mple was going to wreck him. Gets a really fast peek here when he peeks the other side. I'm watching this with X-ray on, and even this surprised me when he swings around the edge of the train here and he sees, like, I'm amazed he got that kill on Perfecto, and then s1mple trades him right after that. But he held he holds on the outside bomb site, or right on the bomb train, a lot. And you can see you really need your head on a swivel. There's so many angles that you can get peeked from, and you can't really be scoping in to check all of them. You really have to stay unscoped and just kind of shoulder peek like that. And if you spot someone, then you swing with your scope out. And you can see that's kind of what he's doing. And then he gets a really good timing on this guy, Ivy. Kind of posts there for a second, and the Ivy guy pushes into him. I never personally liked opping from the bomb train all that much, but it depends on the style of play, right? I was kind of more of a post-up type of opper, whereas he is more DM or aim orientated, and he seems to play with a high sensitivity, just going from the eye test, just from what I look at. But I looked it up on Liquipedia, and he's got an EDPI of 800, so not that high. It's quite a bit lower than s1mple, but just the way he plays it looks, I don't know if you guys have the same opinion, but when I saw this demo, I immediately thought he had a high sensitivity. Hit some shots this round too, against the gun round as well. Pretty much a full force buy from Navi there. I looked up s1mpo's history a little bit, and he was on the Gambit Youngsters roster in 2019 and played some LANs. They did okay. They got knocked out of a few big tournaments by Godsend, but they were a pretty good little roster. And then he got moved up to the Gambit main roster early this year, and of course all the events this year have been online. But it seems like Gambit and all the CIS teams have been doing increasingly better. You know, they've steadily been improving, and it's not like some of the other regions, especially NA, where there's two good teams and then a massive fall off in skill level. It seems like, you know, everybody knows that Navi is the best CIS team, but the fall off in skill is not that sharp. You go to the number 2, 3, 4, 5 teams, and it's like, holy shit, there's some real depth to these teams. At least that's my impression that I get from watching these games. Because Gambit and Virtus Pro, they clearly know what the fuck they're doing, and it's not like watching, you know, the 6th ranked fucking North American team that just gets absolutely steamrolled, right? So they do kind of a Navi-esque strat here. See how they pushed for IV control, they got it, and then they fell back and they waited about 30-40 seconds. It didn't change the rotates from Navi because nobody is more patient than Navi. Navi literally just sit in the same spot the whole round, and but it was kind of similar to what I would see out of Navi, and I wonder if they're kind of like inspired by Navi, or maybe just naturally playing the same type of game because they're from the same region, you know, and stylistic decisions on these teams I find is a little bit region based. You could definitely tell a difference between a North American style of play compared to a European style of play. And I feel like you could say the same for CIS as well. They kind of have their own style. They're very strong aimers, kind of like North America, but they're also usually pretty tactically strong as well. And I've always commented on Navi's patience and how slow they like to play games, and I wonder if other CIS teams are like that, and that's kind of just a stylistic character or a stylistic characteristic of the region, you know what I mean? More scouts in this game. The amount of scouts that this guy buys is fucking unreal. Buying scouts all the time. Of course, I've said before, I always thought Train was a pretty good scout map, and it switches to the M4. You can see it's getting very late in the game here, and I'm pretty sure Navi starts getting tilted. You could see s1mple starts making some very questionable buy decisions later in the game. He'll buy scout armor when all his teammates have USPs, and he'll bring his money down to 0. And in the last round of the game, actually, he takes a terrible fucking peek against s1mple and instantly dies. I don't know. I just feel like there was a tilt factor here that really affected them. Oh yeah, I wanted to point this out. Look how high he puts his crosshair. It's like he knows that Boomich is going to jump when he goes across. See how high it is? That's kind of cool. And then Boomich jumps right into it, and he almost gets the headshot. You know what I mean? I thought that was kind of neat. It was like really good foresight. Comes up, Boomich jumps right across, and he almost lines it up right on the head. Anyways, I thought it was nifty. I didn't point it out earlier, but when s1mple was deagling, he actually had the Navi sticker on his gun, you know? And pretty sure there's Gambit stickers, but maybe just not as many, right? Because they weren't in as many majors, but I don't know. It just seems like one of those things. There's a pretty high possibility that Navi is his favorite team, and I'm sure he grew up wanting to play for Navi like a lot of CIS players, just like s1mple. And oh yeah, this is the round where s1mple buys a scout and armor to go down to $0, and everybody else is basically full saving. I don't know if that's, you know, you can make the argument that s1mple could win the game or win the round with the scout, but I think there's a little bit of tilt factor involved here, where they're just sick of losing rounds, and of course it doesn't happen. You know, it's a pretty rare occurrence to win a round like that. And here's a round. This is just full tilt from s1mple to peek into that op. I don't know, man. I don't think you're gonna win that fight with a scout, even if you were against an AK. Like that peak right there just tells me they've gone full tilt, and the game's over, right? You know, 15-6. Honestly, if they would have been able to keep it at 14-6, 14-7 or something, I could see a world where Navi goes on a run on the defense side, but their buy is so shit, and they don't have any rounds to play with anymore. It was a wrap. It's just, I don't like seeing pro players tilt, and I really feel like that's what it was. I think, you know, the game's not over until it's over, and you got to keep your head in the game until that last round is played out, and it's all over, like it is now. And really good game from s1mple, a guy that I've never covered and I didn't know fuck all about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this demo review, and if you did, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave a thumbs down. Let me know what you think. I'm trying to keep up, you know, I'm trying to do more demo reviews just because Katowice is going on right now, and I like to do like the current events type demo reviews, you know. I don't like, you know, when I delay my videos, sometimes I don't get a demo review out until the tournament's a week old or something. So anyways, let me know if you like this style. If you want to support the channel more, check out my Patreon, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace.